Right, so the next thing I want to do is add some client functionality. And what I would like to do is add a button here that if we click it, we refresh the recipe. At the moment, we have to refresh the entire page to get a new recipe. So in order for us to do that, we'll have to create a client component. So inside app, I'm going to create our components directly, components, and I'll create a new component called refresh recipe.tsx. And we will, for now, actually take all of this and put it in here. Let's just wrap it in a container. And let's put that there. What we will also do is we'll send our initial state from the server component, because we already got the recipe, fresh recipe, initial recipe equals recipe. And also let's extract the first recipe. So if there is a recipe, then we will get the first one. I'm not going to do any error checking for now. We'd actually have to check this, make sure there is a recipe. If not, return a message saying that it's not right. Okay, so we're sending this down to this client component. And we now need to actually tell it we are going to get an initial recipe. We'll just give it a type of any for now. You could go ahead and actually create a recipe type, but for all our purposes, this is fine. And then this means we don't have to map through this anymore. So we get the one. So move this. And also, we need to make sure that we do have a recipe, and we need to set a state. So let's set a new state called recipe, set recipe. And this will be the state with the initial recipe. That's fine. Importing state. And let's also remember to add the use client directive, because this is a, just remove this for now. This is a client component. So, okay, let's just make sure. So we are, what's wrong here? Okay, just let's type this, and also I need to import it. All right, so we are doing the exact same thing. But the only difference now is we have a client component and we send it an initial recipe that we received from the server. So the server gets that, and this is passed down here, and we set the initial state, or we set the recipe state to this initial recipe, and then we just show it same like we did. So let's refresh this page, and we still get the same view. Okay, so we can see everything looks the same, and we still need to add a button. So let's add a button here, and we'll just call it refresh. Okay, that's not right, so let's wrap these two inside a container, and we'll give it some style. So we'll use flex, we'll center them and justify it between, so they should now be all spread out. Okay, so our button is obviously doing nothing. That's looking fine. So now our button needs to get a new recipe once we click on it. So let's add a new and refresh function. And once we click on it, we'll get the new recipes from our server function. This should be an asynchronous function, and after we've done that, we'll set that to the new recipe. But remember, we also need to make sure that it's actually the first one, so we need to make sure of this. So this is possibly undefined, which is correct. Again, there should be some error checking, and then once we click on this button, we will call this. Let's just make sure this is working. Refresh it, and we can see that's working. Okay, I think for now also let's add a loading state. So once we click on this, we'll set loading false. Once this is done, we'll set it as not loading anymore, and we can just check if it's loading, show the loading diff, otherwise show the actual the actual recipe there. Okay. So initial one, it's not loading because that's actually coming from the server. Once we click on it, we can see it's loading and showing the new recipe. But great, so that's working. We've got some client functionality and our app is doing what we're supposed to be doing. This error over here is, let me just restart the server. That should go away. That's just, okay, there we go. All right.